Hey guys, Mike here. So just a quick note, if you're a CrowdStrike stockholder, I would probably not look at that stock right now because it is getting hammered even though I had a double beat. I'm assuming something on the call isn't going well right now, even though as I'm recording this, they shouldn't even be on the call. It's down about 18%. Again, could be one of those overreactions. The next thing you know, it could be a great gap play tomorrow, right? Run right back up to nothing. So we'll see, but that's interesting. I can't wait to hear what's actually on the call, what their forecast is, because obviously that was a problem because they crushed EPS. And so, today was another one of those, what I call a consolidating day, right? All over the place, up 1%, down 1%. We're going to go into that, but more importantly, we're going to go into something that pisses me off more than anything else, which is lazy reporting, as I like to call it. And we'll go into that, and you'll see these articles pop up everywhere about December, right? We're fixing to head into December, and oh my God, it's a glorious time to be in the market in December. December is the best year ever in the stock market. And you read the article, and you say, there's really one big thing missing. One big thing, and we're going to go into it. And of course, I did the research myself because I'm not lazy, and so I'll present that to you guys. But just to cover the markets real quick, some good things, did happen if you're a bull, right? Which is simply that the IWM small caps did not cross over the 50 on the RSI. We did not break this trend line right here. We just bounced off of actually twice, and then now it's just hugging it like it's his mother or something right now. So we'll see if those hold. The other one, obviously, the S&P. A bunch of gaps, one big gap above, two gaps below. Which one will fill first? I don't know. It's like a casino, right? And so, not even close to the trend line. End up being, small negative day, but it was down decent midday and then it recovered. And so you can see right here, green right there, open a bell, boom, major gap down, try to recover all day long. Again, to me, it's just nothing but noise right now. And RSI did cross over that moving average I use on my RSI, which is usually bullish on the hourly. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. And then more important, I ain't covered this in a while, but I like to look at this every once in a while. You talk about smart money, right? Which is corporate bonds versus S&P. Are they trying to tell us something? And if you look at it, on the hourly, you see corporate bonds setting new higher highs, new higher lows. And you see the S&P down there really forming what they call a double top, and we'll have to see how that plays out. It doesn't always play out, obviously, or everybody be winning. And so sometimes these don't play out, but normally that's bearish. But we'll have to see what the case is on that one. And do me a favor, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you've been around a while, you know what to do. Hit that like and share the video if you can. It really does help the channel out. I do not ask much, but I do ask that of you. Thank you very much. And so that leads me into, December. Here it comes. This is, and I'll touch base on this article I read today, but they're popping up all over the place. And again, they never go deep diving into this stuff or anything. And so I'm going to go into deep dive for you to show you what December really is and to show you what's missing. And so, this is one of them right here. Come out 4 hours right before I recorded this. Santa in the stock market. December has the highest winning percentage of any month for the Dow, S&P 500, and small caps. And then, of course, we go over here. And so, finishes the month higher percentage, and you can see right here, obviously, that's the S&P right there. Small caps does even better. That's the IWM. Dow does pretty good. QQQ, or the NASDAQ, that is. Not so much. But, it's still positive, right? This is the percentage they're positive time. So, it's 70%, right? You go, wow, that's a really big win rate. That's fantastic. Let me go and start buying calls right now and plowing into stocks, right? And then you look at these numbers, and you're like, wow, the S&P is up 73% of the time. It's the highest winning percentage of any month, right? You go down, you got the Russell 2000s up 83% of the time. And here's the problem. What are we in right now? We are in a bear market. Should that not hold weight, right? Where is the trend? The long-term trend is bearish. The short-term trend right now is still, even with the consolidation, bullish, right? And so we're going into December. So this has to be a factor, okay? And so if we look and we go, okay, well, how many bear markets have there been? Well, since 1929, there's been 26. Only 15 of those, by the way, led to recessions. And so 26. And so obviously, if you think about that, I think if I do the math real quick, it's, 93 years since 1929, right? So, and we've seen with March 2020, you've seen it with 2018, like bear markets can be very short, or like the dot-com bubble, they can leave for 2.5 years. But for the most part, you're looking, 6 to 12 months average, or whatever it is. And so that kind of tells me that most of the time the stock market is going up, right? Which would lead me to believe that most Decembers would probably be going up if you think about the odds of that, right? And there's a few reasons for this, but again, these articles don't go in there and say, wait a minute, what happens in bear markets? Because if we're in this downward trend, this descending channel, that's a lot of pressure, right? I mean, don't go against the trend, right? The trend is your friend. Because how many times have people tried to go against the trend this year and gotten crushed? And so I said, okay, well, I'll go back and look, right? And so I'm usually, me, I don't go back before 2000 because there was no internet. There's, retail investors barely existed in there. Options weren't running the market, all this kind of stuff. But I said, you know what? I'll go back a little farther than I normally do. So I started back in the 70s. But we're going to start back. We're going to go from 2018 and then go back and see the bear markets. There's not many. And here we are starting in 2018. You can see, right? Big pop on December 24th, which is what? The bottom of that crash right there. And it was down 11%, right, for that month, even with that big pop on December 24th. Go back to December 2008, and you actually had a positive month, right? 8% total. Not bad at all. Go back to 2007. Not looking very pretty. Basically flat, negative 1.34%. Go back to December 2002. This one looks pretty ugly, very volatile, down 8%. Go back to December 01, 3.14%, excuse me. Go back to 1981, down around 3.5%. Go back to 77, December there, end up being basically flat, up about maybe 1%. Go back to December 1973, up around 4.5%. Go back to 1975, went a steep decline there, down about almost 2%. And so as you can see, the trend does matter. Right, that's just the way it is, and I'm gonna be coming out with a more detailed video on what the members need to understand going into December and all that stuff. Because there's something important that happens in December. But looking at the overall month, yeah, if we're in a bull market, sure, I'll pull it up in 2015 and 2020. Everything was great, but again, you got 2018. Anything that's a bear market, the trend, the selling pressure is pushing it down. It matters. That doesn't mean we're not going to have a super great green December this time. Doesn't mean that at all. You saw sometimes you do get a green December, but hopefully if you go back and watch that and pause, you'll get to see why some of those months actually ended up being green and why the others did not. All right, and the stats are pretty crazy about December and how they predict the next 4 years of the market and all kinds of stuff like that. But, this is the stuff that drives me nuts when they just want to look at all of them. And you go, oh, look at all these Decembers. And then you got to dig down there. Where are you at in the market? Now, there's a difference between being in a bull market and a bear market. And we're in a freaking bear market. That's just the way it is, right? But we're all talking about seasonality, right? And this will be the first time we've ever been, in a December with this many factors going on, not just here, but around the world and how they affect stocks. You see the news, how this market reacts like that, right? Like China stocks popped again because supposedly they're going to make an announcement about zero COVID policy not being anymore. They're going to lighten up. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just showed you yesterday how they're just putting, major cities on lockdowns, and Apple's sitting there telling you their iPhone production is going to be hurt, right? And all of a sudden, 24 hours later, oh my God, they're going to backtrack. It's like, because of the protests, really? A Communist Party? All right, maybe it happens, but it's just, you see how every day something will come out. And it's like, oh, here we go. But every little bit of news, every Fed speaker drives the market down 1% or up 1%. It's different. So it's really, to me, depends on the news. That's what it depends on, right? And so, yes, we can absolutely have a green December. It would be nice to have a positive Christmas, wouldn't it? But we're going to have to see, right? We're going to see how this market, and the other thing to look at is where we're at, right? We're sitting here at major resistance levels, right, on a lot of the indexes, the stocks. And so that's the thing you gotta look at. We're at the top of these channels on a lot of them, and buttoned up against moving averages and all this other stuff, and you go, oh, okay, that's tough. That's tough to get through in the first place, even in a good market, right? And so you're gonna have a lot of buyers come off the sidelines to push this thing up. And the other thing to take account is, and I'll try to do a little more detailed video on this stuff, but think about how, to me, this would be the most interesting December as far as tax harvesting, right? Because you got people sitting with massive losses, right? And you can carry those losses forward. I actually looked it up on hnrblock.com. I mean, many years you want to, right? And so if you're sitting on all these losses, you're like, wow, But then next year you're thinking, I'm probably going to be buying some different stocks and try to ride this thing up maybe next year. And you think maybe in the second half of the year, things are going to be green, and maybe you're going to go into different stocks or something. Then a lot of people are going to say, I'm just going to sell these at a loss, right? I knew somebody that just did this. I forgot the name of the stock, but it was a lot. big loss, but they were trying to offset some gains they had gotten in other stocks, right? Instead of just riding it out. And so it's going to be interesting to see like how much selling pressure is put on. People just go ahead and say, I'm going to take the losses, and so I can use them to write off my gains or something in the future, right? Because you can carry those losses forward. Again, please talk to your accountant. I just know I've done it before. And so it's going to be very interesting to see, right? And so, again, and same way you'll have a lot of people, they'll be buying stocks in December for another reason, which I'll go into some other time. But anyway, and let us know in the comments, like, what are you doing? Are you going to sit on those losses and ride them in next year? Or are you going to, sit there and say, nah, I'm going to go ahead and just cut my losses and use it to save on taxes on the gains I might be having through options or whatever you've been doing this year. So anyway, hope you got some out of it, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. I really appreciate that. And I will see you tomorrow.